Is marriage a scam? And has the marriage institution as instituted by God become obsolete, or has it lost its value on today's society? So today on Ibi Speaks, I'm going to be talking about Before You Say I Do, the marriage prep guide nobody tells you about. And to do justice to this conversation is my dear friend, Yemisi Famuiyide. Yemisi, welcome to Ibi Speaks.
Thank you, Ibi, for having me here. Thank you.
Fantastic. So, we've had this conversation going for a long time, and we want to talk about marriage, and especially now that, the Valentine season is here, and, people are all flustered and all butterflies in their stomach. And I know that there will be engagements, people are going to say, oh, he proposed and she said, I do. A lot of people kind of like plan so hard for the wedding, but never plan for the marriage. Yeah. So before we begin the conversation, I just want to give a brief introduction of who you are. So you already know, she's Yemisi Famuiyide. She's a trained civil engineer and found passion in baking, which led her into the Ministry of Counseling. She is a pre-marital, post-marital, and marriage educationist. She's an advocate of being present in the present each time, and nothing should pass by you. And that marriage works when you are determined to know how and committed to how it works. She is a certified counselor, married and blessed with 3 children, and she's a grandmother. So you may be asking, who is this particular episode for? First, I want to let you know that this episode is the beginning of my love and relationship series. And on this series, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. For this episode, I want you to just pay attention. Don't just say, I'm going to watch it later. Don't just say, don't skip and get to the end. This is something that I want you to watch. And who should be watching this? People who are planning on getting married, people who are not getting married yet, but want to get married in future, but then want to know what to do and how to recognize a right marriage partner, and parents who want their children to get married, but who need to be guided on how to lead their children right. So that's what we're going to be talking about, right? Exactly. So you are an experienced marriage counselor. I know you. And I'm going to start off by saying that a couple of years ago, was it a few years ago, somebody very dear to me was going to get married. And I was feeling a little bit off by the way everything was going. And I said, okay, no problem. I sent her to you for a marriage counseling session, or for the marriage counseling class, not even a session, like a class. And when you finished, you gave a feedback and you said the marriage should not go on. I didn't listen. And the marriage went on, and the marriage failed. And you were so spot on and so accurate on what you said. And everything that you said happened. You had never met them before. Oh, you knew the girl,
you knew the
guy, but your fears was spot on. So I'm going to begin by asking you this question. What are some of the most common mistakes that people who are about to get married make, that you have experienced in your career as a marriage counselor?
Thank you very much, Ibi. When you talk about biggest mistakes made before, I use this word, signing the dotted line. Because you still have the opportunity to say no before that day. You have the opportunity to say no before the day before signing that dotted line. But people think of, hey, what will the society say? How will my parents take it? I will take you through a very, what's it called, a scenario that I witnessed. A couple about to get married, and they had their engagement. You know how we do here? They have their engagement. Some now they have it a day before. They have it in the morning and then they go to the church in the afternoon. But this one, they had it like a Thursday and then planning to go to church on a Saturday. So Friday and Thursday came, they had the engagement. It was really beautiful. It was nice. And then the following day, after the engagement, the two of them met and was like, we need to celebrate the success of the engagement. So they decided the following day, which is a Friday, to go to a restaurant to have breakfast and then gist over it. And so they did. They got there and then they were talking and everything. And then the lady made mention of something. And actually the thing was a bit, really hit the guy that day because it was against his own parents.
Okay.
And she was like smiling. She was smiling because at the end of the day, they managed the issue and everything went very well. And she was like, she remembered this one that happened. And then the guy turned, changed his eyes. And the next thing he did was, and you're laughing. And you're laughing. And the girl was like, and then the next thing, he picked up his cup. Luckily for the girl, he had just very little juice left inside the cup. And then he splashed it on her face.
Okay.
Getting married Saturday, the following day. Engaged Friday.
Okay.
This lady said nothing.
She said nothing.
She got up, she picked up her bag, and she went home. And she traveled that night. She left the country. They started looking for her. It was a 6-hour flight. They started looking for her. As she landed, she called her mom and she was like, Mom, I'm out of the country. And then, now, we African moms.
I know now.
Hey, oh my goodness. What are they going to say? And she said exactly why I left the country, because you forced me into this union. How can he? Why should he? What did I say that led to that? And then, the funniest thing is that is just the tip of the iceberg. If she had dared to venture into it, she'll get much more than that. So the mistake number one is not really understanding who you are getting married to. They see love as just mere feelings that will not grow. Love is not static, and it is not a feeling. It is an action word that when you've decided, you have proposed and have accepted. So we decide that we are going to be determined about this thing. It is now no more a feeling. It is an action that speaks louder than words. I have your back, you have my back. I am for you, you are for me. And it is with determination. So she saw this, she was like, this is going to be like a master slave. Immediately, she just picked her bag and then she left the country. Of course, she was like, on the worst nail, they'll talk about me for 1 year and then it will die down. Which was almost like that, did you hear about this person? Did you hear about the wedding? Things like that. It was going to be a very big society wedding. But today, if you ask her, she will tell you that she did the right thing. Because so many things that she has seen, and then she has like, well, maybe she was imagining things, maybe she's overreacting, she's overthinking, things like that. But that last one broke the camel's back. And then she said to herself, I am not thinking. This is real. Am I going to cage myself in that union, or do I want freedom? Because what next am I going to say that I will receive, that dirty slap?
That dirty slap. But you know what you just said that was so important. And thank you so much for that. Is like the biggest mistake is signing the dotted lines. There's something that you said that I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and we were talking about marriage. And we're like, you never really know the person you're getting married. Like, so you're saying that one of the things that people plan the marriage and they don't understand who they're getting married to.
But
the thing is, somebody can can present a very good outlook, like he does everything. He's a nice guy, he's a cool guy, or she's a very nice girl, she's everything that you want. But then once they get into marriage, they change. So is there really a guarantee that the person that you can really know who the person is going to be when people change, when they get married? As a marriage counselor now, what we may not know, we can't know everybody, we can't know everything that everybody is going to be, but from your own experience, what are the telltale signs that if I follow this person, even though the person is pretending to be nice, that the person might change? Or if I marry this person can be like this, but then the person can end up being a much better person.
You see, it's a bit difficult. But
Okay.
when we go by the study of, is it going to be called economics, that says that human beings are the most difficult creatures to study.
Okay.
Because a shift in the person's life, that may be a shift, yes, that may be just 1 second that happened to the person, can actually change the person all over. And you'll not be wondering, did I actually marry this person?
So what can be the shifts?
It could be anything. It could be anything. I've seen a couple that this guy had a fantastic job. And a week to his wedding, guess what? He lost it. And he thought, okay, I'm very good. I will get one. Let's go ahead with this thing. They went. They did it. And then it became nasty.
Okay.
It wasn't nasty while they were dating.
Yeah.
It wasn't nasty. But what happened? He lost his job. He saw himself as, I won't want to call it useless, because he couldn't provide for his family. He practically spent almost everything he had on that wedding. And he was thinking that, I have a good CV, I'll pick up a job anyhow, But the job never came.
And it still didn't come? I don't know.
The job didn't come for like 2 years. And the lady was the one taking care of the home. The lady wasn't complaining. But men, I need to provide for the family. So instead of him discussing with his wife, guess what he was doing? He was brooding. He was actually talking to himself. And the mistake that they do is that because they are talking to themselves, they feel as if their partner is a mind reader and will understand what they are going through. But this woman, well, according to her, she was trying to encourage him. She wasn't complaining, because it's just a trying period. And she said she believed that it will, pass. But he will want to go out. Probably he will need to come to the wife to ask for money to go out. And that's another thing that they don't, another thing that couples fail to discuss or deal with before they get married.
I'm having a separate topic for that one, like a separate topic.
Good. Finances, they don't talk about it. They don't. You see, when you decide that you're going to get married, you need to know that, like the Bible says, the two becomes one, not half-half. So which means that my money is your money. But that is one area that most people do not want to go into, especially ladies.
But I call you Sister Yemisi because I've known you as Sister Yemisi. Sister Yemisi, this thing you're saying, my money is your money. It's only for some people, though.
You see, there are ways to it.
It's only for some
people.
Because there are some women that have experienced. Some women will. Your money is my money. They will give their husbands money. Okay, this is our money. Let us open the account together. Before you open your eye and close, they have finished the money in the account. Your money is my money. There was a case. Now I'm not cutting you short, but I just want to give you this gist now because this is gisting something. A lady bought a house in her husband's name.
Okay.
In her husband's name.
Okay.
You know what that guy did to her? He took everything. He made sure that whatever she had, he made sure that he changed everything. He got her to change everything to his name.
His name.
Guess what he did? Divorced her. Took the properties and married somebody else. Somebody told me these things. Not as if it's like...
No, it's true. It's true. It's something that is happening. And that is why the moral has actually, fallen.
Okay.
And that is why people do not believe in the institution.
Yeah.
They believe that we are there, we are not. No, we have to do our things maybe separately, So from saying your money is my money, I'm talking about, how it is supposed to be.
Okay.
But it is no more. It is no more. And when they actually discuss finance, I believe that number one, have a clean slate. How are we going to manage money? Because whether you like it or not, you're going to have children that both of you will be responsible for.
Yeah.
So how are we going to do this thing? Are we going to have a joint account? Or are we going to have separate accounts? Or is it going to be hybrid? So how are we going to do it? So if you agree to, maybe most people practice hybrid. So if you say hybrid, and then
okay, what's hybrid for those people? Someone who doesn't know what hybrid.
Okay, hybrid is we have a joint account that we decide how much we're going to put into it, right? Each, and we will still have our separate accounts that we know that this is ours. Probably the joint account that you have could be that, okay, for investment, for children, for at least our responsibility, maybe to maintain the house. It depends on how they want to plan it out. So 3 different types. So it is now left for them to know which one. But the funniest thing is that, men are very nice.
They're very nice?
Very, very nice. They want to take care of their own. That is always their initial, how am I going to call it? To the institution called marriage. They want to take care of their own. So when they cannot even take care of it anymore, it becomes an issue. In this part of the country, there's a part of the country that the men want to be the one, taking care of the house, and then let them say that my woman is looking nice. While her money is her money, his own money, they use it in doing everything because that is what they feel. Everybody has different opinions towards that area. Okay, so now for this particular one, the man was really feeling bad that he couldn't even help in the house. But because you couldn't help in the house, must you take it out on the woman? Must you take it out on the woman? He started with snapping at the woman. Meanwhile, they were very good when they were dating. They were very good. They both had very good jobs. But somehow he lost his. Not because he was not competent enough, but probably the economy, actually downsized him. And things just went sour. And then it became very, very nasty. It became abusive in the relationship. So it is true that you will have a very loving dating period. And then some people, when they get inside it, something could have shifted. Okay. And that will make them change. That is one. Another one is that the red flags are there blinking. But, it could be the man, it could be the woman, because it is not written on anybody's head that this person is the abuser. Okay, so they will see the flags, but you're looking at it that, okay, I'm going into marriage with this guy and he's quite rich, which means that financially I'll be stable. So the person is ready to take in all the insults, as long as I will be financially stable.
But is that enough? Is financial stability enough in a marriage? It is
definitely not enough.
Okay.
But these are people's opinion. By the time you ask ladies about to get married, and then you say, what are your expectations? You will laugh at what you hear. You hear them say things like, well, I would like him to take care of me. I would like him to remember my birthdays. I would like him to do this. I would like him to do that. I would like him. I would like him. I would like him.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Isn't that just the fantasy of I'm in love, Disney romantic film, Pretty Woman, the damsel in distress, damsel in distress. The man now came to rescue her. Isn't that what the Cinderella? I had a guest that came in one time and she said those movies really messed people up.
Yes. And we are still going to get to that one too, because movies have actually messed people's mind social media has actually messed up people's minds towards this thing, because you see somebody looking flamboyant and everything, and then the next thing, you're not even thinking of how this person got there. What is this person's background? Where is this person working? And then you see somebody that is not half the status, and then, trying to compare. And you don't.
Can I tell you something? When I wanted to get married to my husband, my husband had just lost his job. He lost his job. Yeah. But I was young, and I just knew that we were going to be fine, because he was a very hardworking person. And when we got married, you knew when we got married, all of us were young and hustling now. But we have this kind of, and this is where I just bring God in. And some people would say, yes, this can be a godly person, but some people are godly and they're nasty. But we just had trust in God, and we were just planning and just believing and just taking steps. The lack of job was not the issue for us.
Was not.
Because we just knew that we were going to be fine. And when I got in, I said, what can I do to help? I started making pineapple juice. Remember that pineapple juice we were making? And guess what even helped us? That 100 days fasting that we did. That 100, everybody was not eating now. Although everybody's stomach was flat. So whether we chop, whether we not chop, no.
Nobody will know.
Nobody will know. So the pineapple juice business I was doing was not because I liked to serve. It was because we had to do it. But he had a plan. He was a man on a mission. And he was a man that loved God. And he used to take me to Bell 12 to go and buy pineapple. He would help me. And that's how we used to manage you.
Exactly. But
so I'm just saying that sometimes the shift is what brings out the true nature of people.
Yes, precisely. And if you look at that time and this time,
it's different.
Our youths are not patient at all. Talk about long suffering. They don't even want to hear it.
But do you think that the long suffering is because of some experiences that they've had? So, for example, they see their mothers suffer in the hands of their dads. They've seen women. There was a popular gospel musician allegedly abused or hacked to death. And we know situations, we know people now that have been died because of marriage. And so some people, when they see one little threat to that, they just they can't be long suffering.
Like you have said, you rightly said, it could be from past experience. Yes. It could be from what they have seen. Yes. But are they in the same relationship with the people that those things happen to? So have you sat down with your partner to discuss this thing? Or because that's happened to one person and then you just believe that it will not happen to you?
But some people argue that people change in marriage, and you're saying it's the shift that makes people change.
Yes.
That something may just shift in them that will make them change.
Something will shift. Like, the sun shouldn't go down on your anger. But a lot of us,
God,
we sweep it under the carpet.
God help me.
We sweep it under the carpet. After like a month or two, the carpet is getting high.
And smelling.
And
dirty.
And then you're now wondering, how did we get to this stage? Lack of communication.
Okay.
Because when you talk, if you reading my intro, you got something a bit wrong there. I said that I am advocate of both couples being present in the present time when they are together. Like when they come back from work, okay, and they are home, they should be able to put all devices away. They should ignore anything that will be distraction to them. They should be able to listen to each other. So when there's going to be a shift, one will catch it.
But do men really talk? Because sometimes, and I'm going to give you this example. Sometimes my husband and I are having a conversation. I'm like, so, love, how are you? How is today? It's fine. Or did you watch this movie? How was it? It was okay. It was okay. How did the meeting go? It went well. It's okay. Everything's okay. Okay. But if it's me, I will give him from when I was leaving the house to what happened on the road. Then when I now got to the place, the shift I felt, then I'll give him everything detail by detail. But men don't really talk much, do they?
Yes, you're very correct. Men don't really talk. But then you will have studied your man.
Yeah.
So when he is saying okay and you are looking at his face and it's not okay, you will know it is not okay. You will know it is not okay. So yes, men do not talk. But then before you get married, you should have a level of understanding of each other. That's why the fact that they claim that you only know 10% of the person you are going to get married to before you sign that dotted line.
It's true.
It's very true. Because
you only know 10% of the person you're getting married
to, yes. The 90% you find out when you get into the institution.
Okay, so now within those, now this will take me to the next question. Within those, the 10%, that is where you also begin to see the red flags.
Yes. They say there's no smoke without fire.
Okay.
Yes. So you'll see the smoke.
So let's now go with that.
Okay.
We don't get. We only know like 10% of a person we're going to get married to. So the 90% unveils after we get married. And really that's true because people are not even tested. You know, when people get married, I'm just talking out of my own experience. Yeah. And of course your own experience as well. We've done this thing for 3 decades though.
Hey.
Because mind you, we're all going into this thing together. We've never experienced marriage before, right? So life experiences will throw things at us that we've never experienced.
Definitely.
So
definitely,
that's where the 90% begins to unravel itself, because it would be our reaction to these things.
Yeah, you're very correct. Okay.
Yeah. So in that way, so that's what I'm going to ask you. So with the so what will happen? So what we now have is 10%.
It's just 10%.
So in that 10%, hey, this is serious.
What can we learn?
What can we learn from that 10%?
What can we know about each other?
Yeah.
That is why some people fall into the marriage institution, because they were infatuated by the man. No love. No love. As long as you are giving me gifts, I believe you are nice. So you come and then you propose, what will I do? This guy that has been taking care of me. But the silent shut-ups he's been telling me, I've been ignoring it.
Hey, the silent shut-ups.
The silent shut-ups, I have been ignoring it. I'll say, maybe I stepped on his toes. Why? Because the hand of the giver is always on top.
Yeah.
Is always on top. So the silent,
my friend, will you get out?
We ignore. Because after they get out, probably you get a gift of a car. And then you say, hey, what is shut up? What is get out? He's taking care of me. I'm looking nice. But when you are with him, you are tiptoeing. So that you don't get snapped at. Now, there was this young lady when she wanted to get married and she was going to move abroad. And she came for private counseling. And sorry, I'm going to just, I'm not going to mention her name, but then I will just, give.
Because it's okay, because that's the experience.
She actually asked me to please share it with anybody that is getting married. So she was going to move abroad with her husband to be. So they've known each other before the guy left the country, and they had their engagement I think 3 years before he actually came back to marry her. He went to prepare papers and everything so that she could come in legally. Okay. And after the engagement, she moved in with the guy's mother. When you do wine carrying, they believe that you are married. Okay. So
in that culture, in that particular culture,
yes. So this guy comes home frequently, and always honeymoon when he's around, and things like that. And when she finally came to sign up,
Wherever she was.
when she came to sign up for premarital counseling, when I say this, no, it's not like that. When I say that, no, it's not. I'm not saying he's like that. I've never met him. I am talking to you, and I'm using other people's experience to explain some things to you. So it's better you just listen. And then she will go, no. No, it's very good. It's very that. And I was like, okay, I think we should stop the counseling because I think you know exactly who you are going to get married to. And she said that she thought that I was going to tell her how to do this. Counseling is not about telling you what to do, but asking you, how will you do these things?
Yeah.
I am not an advisor. I'm supposed to bring it out of you.
And
then we can actually query what you say, so that at least you can now look at yourself and then, I think I've said something wrong. Okay. So she did, and then she got married. She flew abroad. And then the first thing that hit her was her husband was in this living room. His friends were around, and she wanted to sit down with them. And the guy was like, excuse me, what's the meaning of this? And she just quietly got up. She carried her bag and she went, into the bedroom or somehow. And she was like, and you told me. I never said that this is what he will do, but I have painted a lot of scenarios, that you needed to observe. You needed to, and was like, no, I don't need to observe. I don't need to,
Okay. So observation is important.
It's very, very important. That is studying your partner. You need to be able to study your partner. There are some written things and there are some silent things that you ought to know about. It's just like you asking that, what are your love languages? If your husband never studied you, he wouldn't know your love languages. He wouldn't know how to quickly, appease you. And she was shocked. And she was shocked.
Oh.
And she was shocked. And remember, she is there alone.
No,
she doesn't have any
family.
sister, no family, no sister to run to, no brother to go and tell something, and very new in the society. So what will she do?
Culture shock and everything.
Thank you, culture shock. What will she do? So she just called and was like, I would like you to please, remember that thing you told me? Anytime you have, please remember to tell them, that she met a different person entirely. And I would say that she will meet a different person entirely because they had a long distance relationship, despite the fact that they knew each other before he traveled. But they were not that close until maybe a year before he traveled, and then he proposed. And then they had their engagement, and then he left the country to now come back and so that was this thing. But then she thought that they've known each other all their life, so she could say this is this about this person. But the relationship you have in marriage is quite different from the one that you have before you get married.
Wow. The relationship that you have in marriage is quite different
from what you have before you start.
Are you sure that it's not because some people are just wicked? So when you get married to them, they just become something else. That's what I call the husband spirit.
You would have seen that wickedness before signing that dotted line. You will have seen that wickedness. There's no smoke without fire. You will have been seeing it. It's just like a lady that got, I think I was sharing this with you, that got married, and then she had like almost 8 weeks to spend for her honeymoon. And 2 weeks into the honeymoon, the husband came, brought her laptop and was like, write your letter of resignation.
Yeah, you said so. I remember.
She said she didn't see it coming. And I asked, did you people discuss it? She said, well, he was used to me going to work. He will come to my house, pick me from home, take me to work. Even when I close late, he's always at this thing waiting to pick me and take me back home. So he never complained. But then when she now had that deep thinking, she remembered him snapping at his friend for allowing his wife come home 8 p.m. And also saying, why are you even allowing your wife do an 8 to 5 job? That was when she remembered.
So the telltale signs are always there.
Always
in the most minute way.
In their face. Always there.
Sometimes minute, sometimes in your face.
No matter, the minute too is in your face.
Yeah. Okay, so this brings us back to the next question.
Like
so
we said, the little shut up. Like we said, the little shut up. The little shut up. The little keep quiet. I'm talking.
No, but that's not minute though.
To some people, it's minute.
Okay. So now the next question I'm going to ask you is, so what are the things that may appear to be very insignificant? Like,
there's nothing insignificant to. There's nothing. Your elastic limit is different from my own elastic limit.
Yeah, but okay, so there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's
for
nothing
some
that
people,
is
shut up.
Even yes,
It's nothing, but for some people, it's a deal breaker.
I can remember my son. If you tell him shut up, he will tell you it's a very rude language. That you don't tell people shut up. But now, because of where he grew up, but from somebody that didn't grow up where, he did, that does not really understand, probably that the parents keep telling them, shut up, they take it as something normal.
Yeah.
And then you take the shut up, you enter into the relationship, and then the next thing is that you start seeing stars flying across your face.
Wow. Okay, so let me just sum up what you've said, because I'm also a student. You said that we may not know everything. In short, that we only know like 10%.
10%
of the person we're getting married to. So 90% comes about when we unravel. Mm-hmm. But in those 10%, in the 10%, at least we can still be seeing like 1% of we can still
even if it is 0.01%.
Yeah, even if it's 0.01%, we'll begin to see yes telltale signs.
You know that I know of a lady that broke off her engagement because her fiancé then wanted to give a waiter a tip. And what did he do? He threw the money at the waiter. She said that was too much a red flag for her.
Wow.
So you need to look at these behaviors. They're always there, no matter how minute. But we allow the infatuation. We believe that love is blind. But you know what? Love wears glasses now.
Only glasses, binoculars.
Binoculars.
But you know what I wanted to ask you? Mm-hmm. Is that, and I was having this conversation with myself this morning, that sometimes you could actually see the red flags. And just like the story you told us, where the girl left the country because the mother was going to convince her. There's some times when you can see the red flags. Mm-hmm. We mothers will begin to convince you to say, it's going to be all right. Then she will start telling you stories about your dad that you're like, you want to unhear, that you are like, you wish you never heard this, But sometimes even when you are afraid because you've seen the red flags, your mother, your sisters, your brothers will say, now it's not just to marriage. You go to marriage now. No marriage is perfect. That's what they always tell people. No marriage is perfect. And what would you say about that?
Well, it is neither here nor there. You see, there's something in communication that you listen to understand, not listen to respond. Most mothers listen to respond at times because they just want to say, not every marriage is perfect. And then they will now want to start telling you about marriages of 1950, comparing it to 2000s, when there was no even computer then. But now at your fingertip, you can easily press everything and then you will get it. So things are really changing. Times are changing. Seasons are changing. So parents actually need to listen and not put their children under pressure. I have a friend that just passed. I just passed. She had it too, but then later, it stabilized a little because she was under pressure to just get married. She was under pressure to get married. She was abused in the marriage. She was, she was dealt with like a rag. She was told that I did you a favor in marrying you. All because society was telling her that your biological time is ticking. All your mates, they finish giving birth to their children. Parents are saying that, is this how you are going to do? Is this how you're going to do this to me? I want to carry your grandchildren. I want to carry your children. But they won't listen. I wouldn't say that they won't listen because, you cannot use one case to just, seal every other. So it is neither here nor there. So I was telling you about this lady that was, she was 37 at that time when she wanted to get married. And then she came to register for counseling. So the first thing I think that she started doing was she was getting to class very late. And we had to tell her that I think I was one that I even spoke to her that I really do not think you're ready for this institution. I think you should join the next class when you know that you are prepared and you will be open-minded to receive what you have for this from this class. So the two of them stopped. And then the next thing, I think about 3 or 4 weeks after, she came to meet me and she was like, Miss Famuiyide, guess what? I didn't know this man is married. Not divorced though, still married with 3 children. And followed her to premarital counseling class. Married with 3 children. How did she get to know? You know, while they were still planning on, okay, how are we going to go back to class and things like that, the guy went to our house, met the mother in the sitting room, and the mother was like, I want you to serve him something to drink. So when she went in to go and serve the thing, and then the mother just looked at him and was like, how are you? How is your wife? He said, fine. How about the children? He said, fine. Then immediately he knew that he goofed. And then the mother now turned her to look at him. How many children? He said, 3. And you want to marry my daughter? They are planning to get a divorce.
They're planning to get a divorce.
To get a divorce. And you already set the date because they already have a date in view. So there are times that what the adults will see seated, the young ones cannot see it, even if they climb the highest mountain. You know that now.
That's what they say. That's what they say in my village. They said,
which is true. That is when both parties are ready to listen to understand. Because they may not even see, you that you are dating the person may not even see the red flags. That is why they are saying that don't date in isolation. Involve your parents when you are dating.
Yeah. That's very interesting. So again, I want to ask you another question. So we've looked at the most common mistakes, and the most common mistake is
not getting to know each other very well before signing that dotted line, and not having the courage to say no even before. You've seen people walk out on at the altar.
You have?
There's one lady that actually she cried, and usually when driving past Ikoyi registry, she will turn and then look the other way.
Oh no!
And the time I started noticing, and I asked her that what is so interesting on that side, and she said this side brings memory. She said her husband to be left her standing there, didn't show up. So the most courageous thing I'm telling you is that weigh all options. Wedding or marriage is not a place where you go to endure, even though it is 10% of what you know that you will know before you get inside, because you don't know if this guy snores or if this lady snores. You don't know how she cleans her underwear. You don't know if she will soak it for 1 week before going to wash it. You know nothing. You know nothing. And if we're going to go by this what's it called, let me say Christian dating, you're not supposed to be left alone together.
Yeah.
So how will you get to know each other? How? Because there's temptation, and we are supposed to flee all appearances of evil.
Yeah.
So how? So now the 90%, what are you going to make out of it? If the world throws you lemon, what will you do?
So there's something that you said. So you said marriage is something that is not supposed to be endured. It's supposed to be enjoyed.
Yes.
And I feel that love shouldn't hurt. Love shouldn't hurt. Now, this brings me back to a question that I want to ask you. Marriage should not be endured. It should be enjoyed.
Enjoyed. Yeah.
What is the place? And a lot of people are saying that some women are not enjoying their marriage because they are not submitting. What is your take on submission?
You see, we have turned, or rather, we as human beings, we want to take in what we believe will pay us. I'm not saying all men, but let me say the major percentage of men, they believe that marriage, submission is for the woman to be a bit lower than them, take their instructions, and then run with it. Submission is really, really not like that.
Okay.
Let me read something out to you, because every time I talk about submission and I want to talk to my people, I want to actually get the right words out to them.
Okay.
So I'm going to, read it out. I purposely wrote it out so that I will read it so that they will understand. I said that when you think of submission, tell yourself it is selflessness.
Okay.
It is service. It is accountability. You can pick questions from this one. It is accountability and respect for your partner. Both of you are supposed to submit to each other. And now it is now a case of which one comes first, the chicken or the egg. Because if you're supposed to submit to each other, who is supposed to submit first?
In the book of Ephesians, so Ephesians chapter 5, I just want to get the scripture now but anyways, it says, submit yourself. From 21, actually, it says, submit yourselves one to another because of your reverence to Christ. So a lot of people do not look at the first one.
They don't start from there.
Then they say, wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord, for a husband has authority over his wife.
That is where we pick it from.
Aha.
That is where we pick it from.
So the thing is, all of us are supposed to submit to the institution of marriage.
Marriage. Thank you.
Because the institution of marriage has its rules. And whether you're a Christian or not, if you follow the rules of the institution of marriage, you will succeed.
You will succeed. Thank you very much. Still talking submission. There's always a relationship between one person and the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you look at it, the country and the governing body of the country, you have no choice. You have to submit to the governing body of the country. You are in a plane, the pilot and the passengers. Imagine when he says, even if the president is in that plane and the pilot says, fasten your seatbelt, you are going to go through a rough and whatever, what will the president do? Immediately, if he was standing up, he will rush to his seat and he will do what? Fasten his seatbelt.
Yeah.
What is he doing? Submitting.
Yeah.
But in the institution called marriage, God has his own line of hierarchy. God, man, and then the woman. The woman was actually created to be a companion. It was when God was looking at the man that it's not good for this person to be alone, that woman came to be.
To help.
To be a helpmate, to be a companion. Because God saw that this man needed help. This man needed companion. This morning, I opened my phone. I actually followed a lady that I respect so much on TikTok. And guess what she was talking about? She was like, she's quite elder. You know her.
I know her, our auntie.
Our auntie here. So what she was talking about this morning was like, your old age, you need somebody to be talking to.
I think I need to get her on Ibi Speaks. She needs to come and talk.
She said you need to, that companionship, we have missed it. So that is how woman came to be. And what is companionship? Helpmate. Because I'm helping you doesn't mean that I own major part of that strength. You will have carried the whole part of it, and probably it's just one finger that I need to help you lift it up. I have helped you, right? I'm just talking figuratively. Okay. Yeah. Now, God did not create the woman from the head of the man. If he had done that, the woman would have been on top and would have been the head of the union. He did not create the woman picking up the bone from underneath the foot of the man, or else the woman would have been beneath the man. What did he do? He took a rib from the side of the man, which means that the woman is supposed to be by the side of the man. And then you need to discuss how to move the institution forward. That is companionship. Your companion is not who you come and lord over. And that is where we miss it. And because they pick up where they think will favor them, majority of the men, a lot of men understand this, that women are not meant to be slaves. So they pick from the side and you are told to submit. The man too was told to submit. Submit in love. You know what it means to submit in love? Because that is the language the woman understands. And it is not the love that they are claiming is not enough. The love that includes commitment. Because if I'm not committed to you, then my love is fake. If I'm not kind to you, my love is fake. If I cannot have your back, my love is fake. If I cannot cover up your shame, my love is fake. if I use your vulnerability against you, my love is fake. And that means that I'll just be like an empty vessel making noise. And that is when they get into the institution and they know that this person I'm in this institution with has no commitment. What you have been seeing before you got into it, because you'll have seen it that there's no commitment. You'll have seen it that this guy is really not that kind. You'll have seen it that this guy does not really have your back. When they're laughing at you, he will join in and laugh at you. But because he is boxed up, you will say yes, you will now sign. You now get into the institution, you now start saying that love is not enough, because the feeling will die.
Yeah.
The love that you have at the point of even going to sign that dotted line, once you cross that line, is supposed to change into action. So that is when they say love grows. Love is not static. Of course, when you are not yet under the same house and then it's coming to pick you out, you're going for dinner, those goose pimples.
The butterflies.
The butterflies, those things that will make your heart go bing, 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 But then, but now you are now under the same roof, and then he's saying that I'm coming to pick you for dinner. Where will the butterflies come from? The man that left the house this morning.
This brings me to the next question.
Okay.
What I've learned from you today is what I see is that, and I think me and you have the same opinion about this. I believe that marriage, when God instituted the plan called marriage, I feel that it was a noble idea.
Very.
I think that it was a noble idea. I think that the idea about marriage is noble. Like, you can have, even as a parent, if you have like 5 children or 3 children or 4 children and all of them get married, and they get married to good people with good family, you can see the strength that relationship brings. So if you're having an event in your house, your children will bring their children and their spouses, and the spouses' parents would come. So you can imagine if you have like 4 different families coming. I remember when my mother-in-law died, we were just taking a look at her program, and all of them, there are 7 of them, and with their children, this person's wife and this person's children, and the children, they have some of us are from different states. But the beauty of it, that only one person, so it was initially two people, was of course, the parents first. And then the way the family grows and everybody from different backgrounds all coming together to bring some form of an enrichment. I remember when my grandmother died long time ago, my sister's husband is from another town, another community, and he brought a very prestigious dance performance to come and perform for my grandmother's funeral. It brings this kind of enrichment and this kind of flavor, and it adds to anyone. So I personally believe that when God instituted marriage and said that a man should leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, they shall become one flesh, he knew what he was talking about. And when he said that man needed a helper, somebody to help him, he knew what he was talking about, and he still knows what he's talking about. So I feel that the people that are the problem is us.
I agree.
And that's why we're tackling this thing today, is that we are marrying wrong. Because in those days, and I'm sure those things don't happen again anymore. Maybe in some cultures it happens. And I was thinking about it because I was thinking about this conversation. I was just thinking that when Abraham sent his servant to go and look for a wife for his son, Isaac didn't have any business with looking for the wife. It was Abraham, his father, that sent his servant and told the servant, these are the things that I want you to this is given that she has to come from a particular this background,
Yeah.
Okay. And then the man now got there. The man now said, okay, I don't even know, but the woman that would come and that would say, that would give give the people around me, give people around me to drink, and then would also offer my sheep or whatever, my animals, like cattle, whatever, to drink water. That will be the woman that I would marry. Isaac didn't have any hand in it, but his father, through divine providence, even his father's servant, through divine providence, had also looked out for a particular criteria that he wanted. And when those criteria were met, he married the girl. And of course, the lady now came to Isaac, and Isaac saw her and he took her to his tent. And you know what happened?
Mm-hmm,
You know, and we didn't really hear that they fought, they quarreled, except when Jacob came and Jacob had his own issues. And in Jacob's issue, the problem that caused the problem was deceit. That was the one that even started Jacob's kasala, because his father-in-law deceived him, and that was how the whole wahala started, where there was now competition and polygamy. Okay, but our yardstick, and for me, the most beautiful thing about marriage, according to what the Bible tells us, is that the man should love his wife as Christ loved the church,
and he gave himself up.
So if you compare the love, like I can't even think about the love that Christ has for the church, to be honest. But if God could equate marriage and the love that a man should have for a woman as to what Christ has for the church, it means that the man is supposed to love his wife, so that she will not become old and wrinkly. And because sometimes some men will marry a woman, by the time the man finishes with the woman, she marries this guy looking very nice. In the next 1 year, if you go and meet her, you will not recognize her again, because the man has destroyed her. So I'm saying this to say that perhaps God is right. It's us that have the issues. So marriage is not a scam, but I feel that it is our own approach towards it, and not being circumspect. Because you know, when you go for a marriage ceremony, the priests or the person officiating the marriage ceremony would ask you that marriage is, and no, this is what he says. He says that marriage is a holy, that it should not be entered into unadvisedly.
True.
It is solemn, which means that before you enter into the marriage, you should have been advised. Like, so, which means that you cannot just see a guy and say, I love him. People have to be involved. There has to be an input, as a level of guidance.
Yes, it's in Titus that the older women and the older men should teach the younger ones about the institution.
About the institution of marriage.
Yes.
It should not be entered into advice unadvisedly. And it now says that if there is anyone here who has anything, let me speak Nigerian English, he has anything that would make this marriage, that would cause these two people not to join together in holy matrimony. Speak now or forever hold your peace. If you don't speak, that's okay. Then you now, as the audience, will now vow that we are not going to choke our mouth into the thing that does not concern us. We will allow this marriage to prosper. So yes, so it means that there's some things that we're doing that we have failed, and it includes, number one, signing those dots that we're not supposed to sign. If you have that feeling that you're not supposed to sign, that you sign it, that's number one mistake. Number two mistake is that from that 10%, if you do not check out for those red flags, no matter how subtle they are, it can destroy your life. So it's not even looking. You know, in Africa, they will say, "Etore kiri pere, etore kiri koroma." Tore kiri koroma means look well, look deeply, observe. But we don't. We're looking at, the flowers. He had this car. Did you go to his house? Hey, this boy is a bit dressing. So those are the things that we look, and then we have a problem. And then we talked about, again, so the next thing I'm going to ask you is, when can a woman say no to her husband?
Say no to her husband, or intending?
No, like in a marriage.
In a marriage, okay.
Yeah, because you know, this whole submission thing would say, you have to, I'm the man of the house, so you have to submit. And sometimes there are some decisions that the guy wants you to make, and you know that if you make that decision, I don't like the way you just do this, ladies. Okay, let me phrase it this way. Is it okay for a woman to say no? There are some decisions that a man is going to make, and she knows that this is heading for hellfire. This is a highway to hell situation. Should she say no, or should she just say, well, as a submissive wife, as a Christian woman, I don't have to say no?
Oh my goodness. You see, it is still under submission, because the man will be saying, you are supposed to submit to me. Okay? But I always tell the women that you are not leaving your brain at the altar when you were getting married. And you are supposed to be able to reason together. Okay? And if it should tell you physically that put your hand inside fire, what will you do?
And you put that inside fire and I say, oh Lord, please don't let the fire burn me.
Is that not enduring? You know, this is your belief. This is who I am. These are my values. This is what I came out from my own parents, with. And then somebody is trying to rubbish it. You will have seen it before getting into that union. There's no way you won't see it. You see those little feelings. I said, don't take it for granted. And actually on my Instagram page today, I wrote something. I said, when you keep on giving or making excuses for your partner or even your husband, you are planning to go into a marriage that you're going to endure for life. You keep on giving excuses. Okay, you keep on, telling also people that no, maybe it's just this, and no. Meanwhile, it is not right, but you are trying to cover up for the person after the person must have done so things to you. Now, this is before marriage. Some people can see it and then call you and say, no, how this man is treating you is not right. That means that the man does not have regard for you outside.
Yeah.
Because even if he wants to treat you badly and he's pretending about it, he will do it inside the house and then pretend to be good outside. But if this person decides not to do it inside the house and then show you publicly outside, it means that the person has no regard for you. I was talking to a couple 2 Sundays ago, and the lady was like, I don't like the way he scolds me outside. So I looked at the guy. How do you scold her outside? I only tell her what she has done is wrong, or she shouldn't do this, she shouldn't do that. And you do it in front of people. It is how you value your things that people will value it for you. You scold her like that. When next you're not there and she does it, they will do worse to her. And they're about getting married. And she's still going ahead with it. And she said that she does not like the way he does that thing to her. Is that not red flag?
And when you are living, it's not a flag again. It's a house. It's a red house.
And you are living that scenario together.
No, it's hellfire.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
And even the guy claimed that when they leave that place, after doing it publicly and on their way home, that she won't talk to him till they get to where she will get off. And she said that time, because I'm angry. And he has done this thing not once, not twice, not 3 times. He's done it in public. In the house, I'm sure that it is going to be with some,
Koboko.
Thank you. I was looking for the word to use. To scold you. Because these are things that she has seen. She has reacted to it. So why is she still staying? And she says that this thing gets into her because her parents never did that. Whenever they misbehave outside, she said that her parents will call them, not where they will lose their self-esteem or lose their self-worth. And we say, I saw what you did. Never you do that again. It is this, but inside the house. But this guy will just, shout on her publicly and then tell her off, things like that. And you expect to go.
And she's still going to go. She's going to go ahead and marry him.
She's still saying that, but it's not that bad. Because some people some people will want to weigh the advantages and disadvantages. Now, let us put it on a scale of 100%. And then you see that the disadvantage, or rather the disadvantages will weigh like, let's say like 45%. And then the disadvantages will weigh like 55%. You think that, the disadvantages are much, right? But then she's now going ahead because even in this disadvantage, he still pampers me. After we must have, fought and everything, he will still come home with one gift or the other. And then he will come and say, I am sorry.
At least he's apologizing.
At least he's apologizing. But then, which one is now more? You understand? Which means that the disadvantages that she has weighed, that she's claiming to be 55, is almost like 90%. Because if you're not going to be in a place where God wants you to enjoy, because you started taking it, right? He comes back, apologize, he will bring gift for you, you take it. The same thing will happen, will continue in marriage. And not only the same thing, it's going to be worse. Yes, the gift may come bigger, but then it's going to be worse.
You have the red eye, then you fail.
And then the big goggles to hide some things, but then you have the big gifts too to show for it.
Okay, let's go to the next question. What are the hard but necessary questions every couple should ask before they step into marriage?
I say no question is off the table. No question is off the table. It is your life and you need to take control of it. What is simple to me may be difficult to you. What is, like we've said before, your elastic limit is not my own elastic limit. Okay? I would say that any question that comes into your head, you are asking because you do not know and because you want an answer. So no question should be off the table. But then apart from that, you need to ask about the person's core values and belief.
Core values.
The core values and belief. And you know that you are working together because you agree. So you need to value that too. You need to evaluate it. Are we working together? Are we sincerely in agreement? You need to agree on what family values you guys are going to put on your own families. How many children, on your own family, your nuclear family that you're about to start breeding. Because you are not going into the institution and then watching the day unfold.
Okay.
So you need to know which line you guys are actually towing. How many children? What will be your parenting style? You need to talk about money.
Okay.
Money management.
I like the way you say you need to talk about money.
Money. You need to. You know, a lot of people run from it. Some ladies love it and then they talk openly about it. Not openly about it as in trying to reach an agreement. Like we have said, ladies will say, my money is my money. Your money is our money. So how are we going to spend your money? While some ladies that are brought up in good environments, okay, they hardly talk about money, which is a lot of disadvantage to them.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of disadvantage. Because if you are not asking, the guy is not believing that you need anything. And the guy is not bringing out. And remember when we're talking about finance, how are you going to manage this, your money? Are you going to do joint? Is it going to be total separate? Or are you going hybrid?
Can I ask you this? Because we've talked about this a bit, but this is another question. Just, is it okay for a woman to give her husband her salary?
It is neither here nor there. What is her belief? What will work for her? It is her. And then she must have studied her husband.
I'm not giving. No, I don't think it's. My husband would even ask me.
So me, I would say that any man that is asking for the woman's salary is actually a selfish man.
No, my husband wouldn't ask me for
me. I would say that. Here you understand. But then there are some women that believe that I understand this man. This man is good. And the man probably never failed them. Sure, you understand. Now, and then there are some people that, you know.
No, but I don't think that, just I say, before you go there, I don't think a man should ask a woman for a salary.
I just said it. I said that if a man should ask, me, I believe that the man is a selfish man.
No, I don't think a man should ask. I think it's a way of control and manipulation. I don't think a man should ask.
If a man should ask for the woman's
salary to be given her, should be bringing her salary every month to be given to him, I don't think that.
If a man should ask for the woman's salary, the man is selfish. And like you have said, it's going to be like control. If the woman is going to give her salary willingly from her heart, is another thing entirely.
Yeah.
Is another thing entirely.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to
the most important questions.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the most important questions. You need to ask about this person's investment mentality. What's it called? What is thought about saving for the future, or even our own thought about saving for the future, because he who fails to plan is planning to fail. You need to have plans. What are we going to do in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years? Where do we see ourselves in the next 10 years?
We're going to talk a lot about finances. In short, I have a segment on finances.
I know this one that I'm saying is just a little bit out of it.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit out of it. But it's part of the questions that you have to ask. Because you just don't leave the day as it, comes up, Okay, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Children,
Okay.
discipline that you said that. What about sex?
Intimacy. You are going to have a class of your what's a whole session on it. A whole one. I'm looking forward to it. So don't let us, But you need to ask about intimacy.
Yeah.
Not asking that, okay, how are we going to be intimate? No. What has been your past experience? Because the experience that you've had can actually disturb the one that you're going to have. So you need to talk about it. You need to talk about your work-life balance. What if one of you should get a job outside your city or outside your state? Are you relocating together?
Long distance
Or are you
relationship.
you need to ask. When children come, how are you going to create time for these children? Even for yourselves, because children, they are third parties.
You think
The
so?
way they have come, that's the same way they will leave you and go and get married, and it's going to be the two of you alone in the house. So you need to ask. Personal growth. I've seen a guy that told his wife, or rather his fiancé, when they were going to get married. They got married. And he told the lady, he said, you know what? I am not chasing any goal. My parents, they have done enough for me by helping me get a BSc. That is sending me to school. And that is where I am capping it. While the lady was like, me, I'm a go-getter. I want to get to the peak of my this. And the guy was like, I will not disturb you. Go ahead, as long as you will not be rude to me in the house. Because some men feel threatened when their wives are earning much more than them, or when they're at a higher societal ladder than them. Some men feel threatened. So these are things that you need to put on the table and then ask. Till today, the two of them, they are doing excellently well. Excellently well. The wife is climbing the ladder of her career, she's going, and the woman is enjoying it. So,
Abi, it's a win-win. Okay. What about, so we've talked about that. I want to ask about, because we're talking about, again, I want to bring in Christian.
Okay.
A lot of times people think that because this guy is a Christian, you meet somebody in church. You don't. I don't like the way you're laughing. Let me put thoughts on double reaction so people will see your face. This one that you're laughing now. So sometimes, people would say, "Oh, he's a Christian. I met him in church, so definitely he's a good guy. I don't need to ask all these questions. He has the Spirit of God inside of him, so I am most sure that everything will be all right." Is that a la fallacy, or I don't like the way you're shaking your head.
Because most of them, when they're about to get married, that is when they now come to church looking for the good girls. So instead of the good girls to trace their history.
But Sister Yemisi, sorry, I just thought of something. I think that good girls always go to hell. Good girls always make mistakes. Some good girls. Okay, let me just say, this is not a general thing. I feel that a lot of times a girl is good, and then they end up making wrong marriage choices. Whereas the girls that,
That are really not,
end up sometimes having good choices. So can we talk about that, even as you're talking about the man you meet in church?
Okay, so the good girls now, because their hearts are pure, they really do not want to see anything bad about the other person. They are very optimistic. So they don't want to weigh it. Is there a negative side of this? And the brother is there now to catch the good girl. And at that point in time, the brother's character is perfect. And that is just what the girl is seeing. And then before you know, it is like, I will. I've heard of a story of somebody of the other faith coming into a church to look for a good girl. And he did it so well. Got married in that church. And immediately they got into the house. Guess what? The story changed. The story changed. So if you remember, I was saying something about knowing this person in total. But our children of nowadays, they hide their relationships until when they are now so sure that, okay, I think we can get married. But instead of them, I would say that my mom knew almost every one of my friends. But children of nowadays, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's what I can say. Oh my goodness. You have to open your eyes very well for you to even know who their female friends are. Not talk of, because they believe that when they come and then they say that, I have a boyfriend, the next thing is that you're going to scold them.
Yeah.
So they want to hide it.
Yeah.
And not let you know. So by the time they're now coming, then you now hear that we've been dating for 3 years. How did I know?
And so you haven't even seen all the red flags.
You yourself, you are here, and then the next thing is that he proposed. And by the time you want to object, they start crying foul. I know that you're going to say this. That is why this.
Then she has been going through all the, the mistakes.
She would have been going through. And when parents want to oppose, that at least let us get to know this person. And then the next thing, well, depending on what they know of their parents. If they know that their parents are jolly good fellows, of course, you see some, they will bring in their, their partner, and then, there will be that conversation. But for those that believe that my parents are strict, they will hide that person. The high is going to be from afar. So at the end of the day, they end up falling into the wrong hands.
So I'm like, it's as though you're just reading my questions. So it means that also that parents have to be open these days. In those days, in my own time,
they are not to
you bring man to the house. They will beat you. Your mother will be abusing you, sir. It's not like now, because in those days you just be hiding. Let them know.
And in their own days, their families will go and then do a research on who their children are marrying. But do we have that now?
But I feel that sometimes, I feel that one is good, but sometimes it can backfire in the sense that you could just meet somebody that really just hates your family. Because I'm just saying that if my husband had gone to my village to go and do investigation, the people that he would have met around my house, they would have said all sorts of rubbish.
It is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Because I encourage couples, about to get married, to make sure that they spend time with each other's families, not with third parties outside. And then they should be able to discern some unsaid things. Because, when you are in their comfort zone, some very great jokes will come up.
Okay.
And it is from that joke that you get to know the reality of things. So you can just pick up the joke and then, ask your partner, what's this joke about? Enlighten me. But when you don't even do that, you don't even know. And then when you spend time again with these families, you get to know the relationship between the father and the mother. You get to know the relationship between the parents and the children. Then you can actually understand why your own person that you want to marry is behaving like this. So it brings more understanding.
So Yemisi, I am aware of time, because there's no amount of conversation that we can't finish this topic. But I have some questions for you that I want to ask.
Okay.
Now you talked about somebody who met a sister and married her, and then immediately they got home, the story changed. Is there a room for divorce in that instance?
Yes, it's called deceit. It's called deceit. It's called deceit.
Based on deceit.
Yes, based on deceit.
Based on
deceit.
You know
what? Yes. You know what? Sorry, let me just cut in. Sorry, please. Marriage in this part of the world, right, is you have the customary marriage. That is the traditional.
Yeah.
And then you have the government certificate. The traditional does not really get the government certificate, because when you do whatever you have done. It is the families that will now come and then start settling cases and things like that. But when you go for the real, I won't call it the real marriage, when
because even the traditional really is marriage in a way, because the parents,
it's marriage. No, it's marriage, and it is recognized in the country. The only difference is that when you have issues, government cannot come into it. Government cannot come into it. So if that one that I said were to be the one that federal government has issued a certificate, you can actually go back to the government and say that this marriage was based on deceit. Okay. And you can prove it. But if it is the customary, guess what will happen? You go back to your parents. You are married. What else will you do? Look at every one of us. Who do you think got divorced here? Don't be the first one. I'm sure that it will not stop you from practicing your own faith. And then they will go on and on and on and on. And at the end of the day, this person will be sealed up in a union that is enduring.
Yeah, it's enduring, yeah?
Enduring, not enjoying a marriage.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you this categorically then. If a marriage is based on deceit, it can be annulled.
It can be annulled, yes.
Okay. Then what is the ground that a Christian can divorce? And what is the difference between annulment and divorce?
Annulment is not divorce. Annulment is like, you are going back to your, what's it called? This like a fake marriage.
Yeah. So annulment could be based on deceit.
Yes, can be based on, and a few other things, but then let us just leave it at deceit for now, not to stretch our time. While what's it called, divorce is that you've been married. When you got married, it was the good time was really good, and then probably something shifted, like we have said, and then it is no more enduring; it is now enduring, and then probably enduring in terms of one person's life is at stake. Or, there's danger to this other person's life, then you can say that you're going for. Or probably one person just went away without, anybody knowing. And then probably not seen for, I think it is a minimum of 3 years. 3 years. Then you can actually file and say that, okay, I've not seen this person. But in the actual thing, government is meant to go and look for that person for you. And then bring the person back and ask, are you sure you want to dissolve this marriage? Because governments themselves, they value marriage. Because they know that the way marriages are breaking down, society is breaking down.
I believe you. I think so.
Marriage is the smallest unit of the society. If it is intact, our world will not be what it is right now. So people enter without, thinking. And then the next thing, after 1 or 2 children, they want to check out what is for those children. When they eventually grow up, how will their own marriages turn out to be?
Wow.
So government is actually after marriages surviving. And that is why there are strict rules. Once they issue you that certificate, there are strict rules.
Really? Is it just for everybody or for the rich and for the poor?
No, for everybody. But the point is that here, we don't know how to go after our own, rights. When I hear Sister Ibi say something, instead of me checking it out, I run with it. There are strict rules. The institution is not just a mere come in, see, I'm not doing anymore. There was a case. Sorry, let me just quickly identify this case for just a minute or two. There was a case, this couple wanted to get married. And I advised them, I said, please, is that you move this thing forward so that you can get to know each other more. Because this back and forth, I really do not like it. And the lady would tell me, oh, my mom is this, my mom is that. I said, I was just like, okay, since you're having pressure from the home, the pressure was so much from the home that she gave in.
Yeah.
The marriage ended.
So that is the role of parents.
Parents
pressurizing their children.
Pressurizing the child. Exactly. The marriage ended the following day. Yes, sis. The following day. Because the lady did not allow her husband touch her.
Why?
Because she said that mentally she wasn't ready. She was pushed into it. She said she was pushed into it. Mentally, she wasn't ready. And then she was just like that for a very long time, and I think about a month after she moved out of the house, her husband never touched her. And they got married.
But can lack of consummating a marriage call for divorce?
It may. Depending on how you want to prove it. It may. It may. Anyway, where I'm going to is that when they were going to go into it, I told them, I said, look, federal government will take 4 years, minimum 4 years of your life before getting this thing dissolved. So go and think about it. Then she was how old? She was 28. She was 28. Guess what? It took them 7 years. It took them 7 years to dissolve it because they went through the normal channel.
Okay, I want to ask you this question. I know that it's a bit controversial. You know about Tubaba and Annie Dibia. Tubaba has just proposed to another lady while the vet proceedings is going on. So is there a different case for celebrities and for regular people?
Well, I wouldn't say yes or no because I have not been in that space to know if they favor them than the regular people. But I know that everybody has their own rights. But the regular people do not pursue their rights.
But I'm talking about the spacing because Two-Face just announced that
divorced and immediately getting married to
is proposed to another.
But it is what we saw on social media. We don't know if they have been on this route for a long time.
Okay.
So probably it's the ending of it that we got to hear.
Okay.
So that people will not say that they are seeing me with this person. Let me quickly come and announce it. So you can't really say the space of time they have used in going through that rough divorce thing. Because
so you're saying that.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry, because I'm just conscious of time. So you're saying that for people to divorce, it's not just I marry you today, I can divorce tomorrow. It will take a long time.
It will take long time. Yes, it will take long time. That is if we don't use a normal long leg. You are going through the normal channel because the federal government will want to mediate. They want to see how to bring you back together. Because of the foundation of the country.
Okay.
Everybody wants a very smooth country. Everybody wants something that is viable. So if they just think that you can come in and go out, then I am sure that what we have now will be much worse.
Wow. Okay. So I want us again to just quickly we've mentioned it, but I just want us to talk about it in a more structured way. What are the roles of parents in guiding their children wisely?
For the parents, number one is that they should be the real life role model to their children. Because whatever any child becomes in life is actually as a product of what they see in the house. From their talking, if you hear any child talk, listen to his father or his mother, you will see that undertone of the parents.
Okay.
Because there's no way the child will think like the parents. Because it is their value that they will pass on. And if they are valueless, it will show that they are not passing any value into this child. And the child will become valueless because the parents are valueless. So they should be the first role model for the child. And that is why most of the time, when we are doing for couples, we ask them that, let's look at your parents' relationship.
Okay.
What are you actually going to take out of that relationship? And you hear them say a lot. So it has shaped their mind. It's giving them opinions. I have seen a woman that says that, my father beats my mom. And then she behaves. So if her husband does not do the same thing to her, she may not behave. It is what she has seen. That is her belief. That is her belief. That's why I'm saying that the parent should be the first role model and then impute good values into these children. They're supposed to provide emotional support for their children. They should have listening ear. Communication is not just passing down information, or just talking down or passing information. They need to receive an answer to make sure that what I have said is well understood and will be carried out very well. But in this, we parents, what we want to do is just give orders. This is how it is done. But trust my Gen Z children now. They want to ask why. And then, parents now, they will come with their ego. I'm saying this, you're asking me why. Of course,
and I think that sometimes parents don't like that because they don't have an answer.
They don't have.
And they're not prepared.
Exactly.
Like my last child. You cannot just have a conversation with her and think you have You have to read it, because if she wants to tell you about something, if my daughter says, Mom, I need to have a conversation with you. My heart don't do bing, bing, bing. Why? Because before she tells you something, she has researched. I am telling you, she has researched. And whatever questions you're asking her, she knows the answer. So you are so when she tells me, when she says, Mommy, I'm just by picking up a no verse. I beg you. I thank God, beg you, please. Because you can't have a conversation with her just as normal you have a conversation with. No, because
that is why you have to listen to understand them. You need to know where they're coming from.
When we're having a conversation here, you will think I'm having a conversation with the professor. It's okay, no vex. Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me know this.
Information is at the tip of their fingers.
Okay. Then I will now say, okay, that's very good. Okay. Because sometimes I don't know now because she's researching.
Exactly.
So I think you're right in saying that this is not the time for you to say, because I said so.
It is not. If you say that and you still, and you stand on because I said so, guess what? They'll go and look for the answer outside. And getting the answer outside may not favor you. Because they will not come and ask you questions anymore. You have created a distance, a gap between the two of you.
And I think it's been honest.
It's been yes. Yeah. Yes. And if you don't know, if you tell them that you don't know, believe you me, they will tell you about it.
Yeah.
And then you will have a conversation. Not that you have a conversation. You respond because you are learning from them. And then you're asking them questions too. And they are thinking about the answer.
Yes. Yeah, that happens as well. Okay. So the role parents have to play is to be good role models.
Good role models.
Yes.
Yeah, be emotional,
honest.
Support. Yes. Be honest. Then they should learn to discipline their children. Because even the Bible says that spare the rod and spoil the child. Yes, teach the child the way it will go. He won't depart from it. So they have to teach the children to
speak to the children.
Yes.
But do you not see that there are some times when some children, parents do their best? I've never heard when they say, but this boy's father is not like that. Because sometimes some children are taught at home. But when they go out, they do what they want to do.
It is what we see.
You see that as a problem.
It is what we see. And apart from that, where you see, okay, let me give you an example. There's I wouldn't call it a case at hand right now, but this woman wants to behave as if I have good morals, I have high standard, I have this, I have that. You cannot find my children doing this, you can't find my children doing that. At times when you do that, you push these children to the wall.
Yes.
And then they rebel.
Yeah.
So there are ways that, you will pass on your morals and standards to them. So you just don't come with the force and the bang. You need to understand them too, because they are another entity entirely. And when they leave home, they are mixing up with other children.
My daughter told me something. My daughter said, Mom, the world of today is not the same world of yesterday.
It's not.
Mom said there are real issues going on here. Mom, there are real issues going on here. Like, there are real issues. So they're also going through their issues as well.
They're going through, yes. Exactly. They are. The time is changing. The season, when you got married, was there handset?
There was no answer. Now, wasn't know you one time we were having a conversation, and I remember one time I met you on and I won't just say where we live, one junction. Like I said, the mobile phone. I said, when are they going to have internet on this phone? They said, like you say one day, and now we've had it now. We've not rested.
Exactly.
We've not rested since we had it.
We've not. Exactly. So things
parents
are really changing.
Yeah. So parents should be the perfect examples. And I wanted to ask you this, and somebody said this to me one time, or said this to my husband one time. It's a friend of his, and he said, if you want to know how your relationship with a girl will turn out to be, look at her mother's relationship with her father. Is that true?
Excellent. I told you, a lady that says that because his father beats her mother to behave, she too is expecting the same thing. I was shocked. Okay, sorry, just a minute too.
Yeah.
A minute. A lady was telling me when she was at our counseling session, she was like, all men are born to be cheats.
Okay.
I was like, where did you get that one from? She said, something that I know, all men are born to be cheats. My father cheated on my mom, so if he should cheat on me. So that's why
it's the conditioning.
Yes, the mind was already conditioned because of what they have seen in the house. The parents shaped these children. My daughter.
Okay. I'm listening because I'm learning. It's okay.
My daughter went to visit a friend in another part of Lagos, and it's a busy family. Let me just call it like that. Very busy family. And my own family, how many are we? We are just 5. Now, she now went to a family of maybe they were like 12, 15, And then she got there and she was looking at chaos. She said, Mommy, I think that our family is just a normal type of family everywhere. So she saw chaos, serious chaos. And she was like, she was supposed to spend the night with them. She said she couldn't manage it.
Chaos in what way?
Chaos. Everybody doing their own thing, unlike you want to cook, you have just one pot. Everybody is coming with their own different, me, I'm eating spaghetti, me, I'm eating this, and then she was like, and then some other things.
Okay.
So now imagine somebody that is in that kind of environment, born and then raised in such a huge family, with that, let me call
drama.
it polygamous family.
Okay.
It takes some people to say, I am not going to toe the line of my father in polygamy.
Okay.
But as they say it, if they are not conscious of it, they fall into it.
Yeah.
They fall into it. Before you know it, they are marrying this, they are leaving this, they are going to another one. Wow. So that is why parents play a huge role in their children's life.
And I feel that parents should not put pressure on their children.
They shouldn't put pressure. They shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't put pressure on their children, because a lot of times you would see a girl marrying somebody. I watched a movie one time and a girl found out something about the guy that she's going to get married to. And the mother said, it's okay now. It's okay. What is it? Just marry. And just have children for me.
Look at the one I told you about. And the mother was like, go now. It got to a point that this mother had to lead this girl somewhere, to the guy's house to go and beg that she won't behave like that again. Yes, the pressure is too much.
I have to put my leg down.
Yes. The pressure is just too much.
Yeah, it's society.
It's society.
It's the society.
Exactly. Okay. Now, she has left her home, with bruises and everything. What do you think she will do when she wants to get into another home?
That's sad, isn't it?
Very, very.
So parents should not put pressure on their children.
They shouldn't put pressure, yeah.
But parents also should provide proper leadership and guidance.
Proper leadership and guidance. Thank you. Yes.
Now, I wanted to ask a question. What is that question I wanted to ask you? Because as you're teaching me like this, my brain is just going wah, 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 wah. What's the question I want to ask? Okay, I'll leave it because I was going to write it down. Okay. So, practical steps to building a strong and lasting marriage.
I'm going to repeat something that your husband told us, and I've been preaching it.
My husband told you?
Honestly, and I have been preaching it because honestly, if you can just go through that and imagine the two of them going through it, this world will not be how it is. Be intentionally kind to each other because you want peace in the house. You want to enjoy your marriage, not endure. Be intentionally kind to each other. If that one can be done, honestly, there won't be any issue in relationships. But because of mentality that we have these days, you have some mothers that will be telling their daughters that you need to have your own personal savings, so because you don't know what this person is doing,
Is it not because of the experiences that they've had?
How did they get the experience? Because I would like to know how they got the experience. Probably
because there are some women that would entrust their husbands with everything.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it. We've seen it in Nollywood,
yes.
But we've seen it. Like somebody was telling me a story about how one lady heard this message in church about how women should have joint accounts with their husband. And this woman was a trader, a very successful woman, and the woman went and opened joint accounts and put a significant amount of money, millions of naira into her account. Before the woman would do like this,
it's gone. She did it without asking God for wisdom.
Because she knew the kind of man.
You would have known the kind of man. That's why I said that you have to know who the spender is and who the saver is. If you're in a relationship with somebody that is a spender, you will not say that you want to open a joint account. Even if you open a joint account, wouldn't you make it that both signatories must be there before money will move out? Wouldn't you do that?
I will now.
Will. So you ought to know yourself. How is this person with money? How? And if you want to be sincere with each other, you let the saver. If you believe that is the saver, manage the money.
And that comes with trust.
And that comes with trust. But that is what is lacking in most relationships, and that is what we have now.
Yeah.
In the society.
The lack of trust.
Lack of trust. And you have third parties outside that are ready to tell you, don't trust, my husband did this to me. Am I married to your husband? But words are like seeds.
Yeah.
Once dropped in your heart is very fertile. Once dropped in your heart, it will start growing. That is when the person will start, thinking about it. That is true. Then you start getting ideas. So that is why you have to know how to deal with third parties.
Interference.
Know how to deal with them. So apart from being kind, because once that kindness is there, you're intentionally kind, then you're going to be determined that this marriage will work. You need to be true to yourself, because if you are true to yourself, you have already overcome 80% of any challenge that you have in marriage. You are not the type that uses wig. Then because you see your friends using wig, but it's not your own style, and then you now want to toe the line of these people, what do you think you will do? You start making unreasonable demand. Yes. And that is why expectations for going into that union has to be clear.
Yeah.
But they hardly talk about their expectations. They just think that if we love each other, let us get married. And that is when you now start hearing love is not enough. Because their love didn't leave that feeling aspect.
But I feel that, like this thing you're saying about, I feel that in a marriage, really, this is just me, that, so a woman would say, I want the man to take care of me. I want the man to take care of me. Is it a fair thing for a woman to expect from a man? And I believe that the man is supposed to provide.
The man is supposed to provide, he's supposed to take care of the woman. The man is supposed to be, but thinking of the economy now,
Exactly.
And you are saying that you are a team, and you see the man struggling, then you have no love.
Yeah.
You have no love. Because that means that you are there for the material thing. You are there for just the good time. So if the good time should stop, then that means that the marriage is packing up.
So as women, and me, I feel that way, Sha,
And
that
that is why we are helpers.
as
That is why
women,
we
we
are
should be able
helpers.
to
Yes.
support.
Support, yes.
It's not as if you carry the load on top of your head.
You need to have an agreement. You need to talk about it. You need
And
to talk
you
about
also need to be financially independent.
the woman.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You need to be financially.
Yes.
We can't exhaust all these conversations, though, because there's a lot. But I want to ask you one question. Can a Christian have a failed marriage?
Oh, definitely.
Why?
Definitely. Now, if you're talking about let me say, truly born again,
Yeah.
spirit filled,
Yeah.
and the how am I going to call it? The level of, should I say, level of interaction? I don't want to use the level of interaction. Where are they placing their wives in the work of the church? Oh, sorry, with the work of the church. If you are the type that after work, you are going straight to church, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do that. You come back home like 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, you're coming home. Some of them will now want to eat one heavy food before going to sleep. They are tired. There will be emotional distance. You may be providing for the home. You may be giving everything to the home. But your presence is not seen in the home. All because you are saying that, you are a Christian, you are born again, you are fully involved in church work, but you have no time for your life.
For your family.
For your family, even your life, you don't even have it. You think that you have time for your life because you think you are in control of it, because after work you are going to church to go and see to the things of the church. And at the end of the day, you don't have time for your own life because you get home tired. You are not seeing your children, you're not seeing your wife.
And you're doing the work of God in your mind.
And you are doing yes, as a man.
In your mind, you're doing the work of God.
In your mind, exactly. So it is now a mind thing. Where do you place yourself? Or how are you placing you? That is why you see some pastors' children turning out. You think about the father is a pastor. The father is not like this. How did you get it? Because the presence of the man is not felt in that child. Then it will only take a woman that is doing the supposed submissive. Well, what can I do? Let me take care of the house. He has to do the church work.
But it's not it's imbalance. It's not
balanced.
It's not balanced.
It's not.
Which means that they are not marriage has rules. Okay, so I'm going to bring you to the next question, and then we're going to now analyze, and then we're going to,
round up.
Now we're going to round up. So, which means that just as how a Christian can have a failed marriage, an unbeliever, a non-Christian can have a successful marriage. Why? I love this.
That is a deep one, because it is actually true. Because they are true to themselves. They are true to themselves. You mentioned Tu Baba a few minutes ago. There was an interview I saw of him sitting down, his wife beside him, then the interviewer in front. And then he said something that was real red flag. And the lady, that is his wife, now asked him, are you talking about men generally, or are you talking about yourself? And he said he was talking about himself.
Okay.
What am I trying to say? He was being truthful, but the woman refused to listen. Or rather, the woman refused to understand. That's why the fact that she asked that question. Because when I heard it, I was like, ooh.
What was the question?
You cannot stop him from, from doing the do outside,
Okay.
So she thought that he was actually saying all men. And he said, I am talking for myself. After having like 3 or 4 children before hers. So what am I trying to say? You see, the unbelievers, I wouldn't want to say the unbelievers, but they're still unbelievers anyway.
Oh, well, in terms of Christian, but again, okay, let's just say nominal Christians
Nominal
or
Christians, exactly. They are very truthful to themselves. Very, very truthful to themselves. They will call it as it is. Come, let's go to club. Meanwhile, the born agains, they are eyeing the people going to club. They are wishing that they can be there, but they will say that because this is my faith, let me just be like this. You understand? They're not being truthful with themselves. I'm not saying that they should go to clubs, okay? But they should be able to open up and talk to themselves. What is it that you want? Like, what's it called? The one that doing the do. If a woman should ask for it, guess what? They will look at, are you sure you're a Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So we cover up a lot of things. We bottle up a lot of things. We don't let it out. Meanwhile, that is when you see the brother and sister that are married and then they're sitting there in church, their body cannot even touch each other. But you see the go happy, lucky, ones, you see them laughing and jumping up and down. You see, because, they are telling themselves the truth. And then they go about it. But then we think that Christianity gives us a cap. Of course, we know the cap that it gives us, but not the extreme that we push ourselves and force ourselves into. In a class, I was telling the attendees in the class one day, I was like, never stop dating. Never stop dating. Don't say that because you are signed, sealed, and delivered to the house, it is all see finish. No, continue. They looked at me. When we're not having a recap, one lady said the most shocking thing Mrs. Famuiyide told us was we should never stop dating. And I said, yes, I'll keep on repeating it. Never stop dating.
Let me tell you what my husband, one time, my husband, when he sees me coming, says, my head stunner. I say, yeah. That means I'm like, I say, yes, so me, I have a baby girl for life. And I think that sometimes when my daughter sees me, she's like, oh my God, Mom, stop this. And I'm just laughing. So which means that, which means that marriage has a rule as an institution that must be obeyed. It's just like a Christian and making investments.
Yes.
You cannot say, because I'm a Christian, I will just, because I'm a Christian, I will go and give my money to Mana Home.
No, even bury it in the ground.
Bury it in the ground. Yes. Because you've mentioned my husband, I will just say this. One time I was having a conversation, and again, marriage has its own set of rules that whether you're a Christian or not, or whether you're a believer in Jesus Christ or not, that if you apply those rules, they would work. Okay, but this is something my husband said to me one time. He said that life can be very funny. And sometimes a guy can be nice, a guy can be principled, a guy can be disciplined. But this is where the Christ comes in. He can be all of those things, but if a man doesn't have Christ, sometimes he will be faced with certain kinds of situations where it has to be only Christ that can help him. In the same way, some people are, in quotes, Christians, but they are Satan's junior brother. There was a lady that I knew one time, and the husband, when he preaches here, when he prays here like this, fire and brimstone everywhere. But she said that year was the wedding anniversary, that day, but it was the worst day of her life. So, if anybody wants to contact you, how will they contact you?
Okay. I'm on Instagram as underscore the better underscore better underscore you. So the better you, but with underscore
Okay,
separating
the
it.
better you.
Yes,
And
but underscore.
you have a service that you provide.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm
if
into
somebody
counseling. Yeah.
yes, if somebody wants to
Mm.
contact you, how would they contact you?
Okay. Either through email.
Okay, so you're going to
Yeah.
drop the email and I'll put it on the
Yes.
link. Yeah,
Okay.
below.
Okay. I'll
Okay,
send it to
so
you. Yeah.
fantastic.
Okay.
So thank you very much, everyone, for listening to us. It actually was like it went on, but I really enjoyed it. Were we able to exhaust everything? No, because marriage and relationships is so much to unpack. But I have, like I said earlier, this is a series and we're going to talk about a lot of things. So next time on Ibi Speaks, I have a special guest who is going to be talking about another aspect of marriage. So join me then. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It's Ibinabo Enebi and follow me on all my social media handles. And I will see you next time. And Yemisi, thank you. Mwah. And bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye. I'll
Thank
call
you.
you.
Yeah. Thanks.